Good morning. Last night was pretty good. It did not rain, which was great. Mosquitoes did a lot of buzzing, but I was in my sleeping bag, so they could not bite me through the material here. I kept earplugs in all night because they were just buzzing. This was awesome. Earplugs were definitely a really good idea. So this hammock was an absolute lifesaver. I was able to get under the mesh here, and no mosquitoes could get in there with me. All right, so I didn't bring any toiletries or anything, but I don't really need anything except for a toothbrush. And so what I'm doing is I'm just using a palm branch here, and you can use any type of branch as long as it's not poisonous. And you just kind of whittle it down, take all the bark off, because the inside of plants are fibers, and that's basically what your toothbrush is. It's a bunch of fibers stuck there together. So I'll just kind of shave it down and then chew on it to separate those fibers a little bit. It's kind of like a mix between a toothpick and a toothbrush. My breath is probably going to be pretty rank by the end of this trip, but whatever. There's no one else to smell it, so it's all good. All right, now what I love about hammocks is not only are they really comfortable, they're also really compact. And this whole thing is gonna fit in this little bag. Alright, so it's still pretty hot today. I'm pretty sure it's warmer than yesterday. And so I'm just stopping for a little break. So what I've got here, I know it looks kind of nasty, but this is what you call persimmon leather. And basically it's just dried persimmon. And so it's really good to bring out on these trips because it's dried, it's preserved. And so it's not gonna go bad. And I left the seeds in because I'm too lazy to pick them out. But and it's a lot easier to pick out when they're dry, and you waste a lot less. And this is actually something native to Florida, and that Native Americans in this area right here would have had access to. And of course they would have definitely utilized some persimmon. In my opinion, this is the best tasting fruit in all of Florida that you find in the wild. There's nothing that tops this stuff. And I always like to bring something native to the land on these trips. Of course, the Logan bread, the citrus, it's not native to Florida. Wow, that pig is very brazen. I mean, it's the middle of the day, and it's just rooting around like nothing. So generally what that means is there's not a lot of hunting pressure on them. And this is a big piece of land, so I imagine probably isn't a whole lot of pressure on him. Or he knows that it's not hunting season, so yeah, that's weird though to see a pig out in broad daylight like that. I knew pigs were out here because I've seen a lot of areas that just been rooted up. I don't know what he's doing. Just going along the riverbank, I guess. Most of the trail has been pretty open on the second day, but I've just been in this cypress forest for seems like hours. And I can't see any like clear openings or anything, so I have no idea how long it's gonna last. Luckily, it's pretty early in the day. Well, I shouldn't say early, it's probably around 1 o'clock or so. So I've seen a few snakes out basking. Pretty cool guy. And what's funny is they just sit there unless you touch them. And so they generally don't move no matter how close you get. Now, of course, if you just like sit there and mess with it, he's gonna move off. But I mean, I'm moving his branch. He doesn't even care. Yeah, there he is, right back there, hanging out in the branches. Snakes are pretty chill for the most part. I think that's why I get along with them so well. Oh my. So I found something very creepy. Found an old cabin. So right there. So I'm not really sure if I should like explore it and check it out or not. But I mean, the sun's getting low. It's about ready to start making camp, but it's weird. It looks like someone might still live there, but I don't know. People that live in the woods usually are like, I don't know, weirdos. Like me. They're usually like me. So that is interesting. So this is what I call a smother fire, and basically I just smother it with wet stuff, and it just gets out a lot of smoke, and mosquitoes don't like smoke. And so it's just an attempt to get them out of the area, but I mean, they're gonna come back during the night at some point when all this burns off. But it's something, and it works for a little while. And you can even, if you got some bad body odor, you can get in that smoke and just kind of smoke yourself. Or you can burn a hole in your pants. So this spot that we're sitting in has some significance to me. This was one of the only camping trips I've ever been on with my brother. We only stayed one night, and we camped right back behind me there. We had caught a few fish. I thought I'd be a nice guy and kill it first and then finish cleaning it. When I went to kill it, of course I killed it quickly, and the problem was the knife wouldn't come out of the fish. So I was like, what the heck? So I'm struggling, and what happens is I put the fish like this and the knife like that, and I pulled and I sliced open my hand. So we're that way the heck from any civilization out here, and I have this huge open wound that is just gushing blood. And like, we were both like, crap, like, what do I do now? So we didn't bring any first aid except for an ace bandage. So my brother throws me the ace bandage, I catch it, and I just start wrapping up my hand just to get the bleeding stopped. And so I get done wrapping it up, and and it's bleeding through. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope this stops bleeding. So eventually it did, and my brother cooked up the fish, and it was so delicious. So the next day, I couldn't paddle. So we were in the same boat together, and he ends up paddling the entire way back. And somewhere along the way, my brother's like, Timothy, you owe me a beer. What's funny is I still haven't bought him a beer. But yeah, so that's the story of me almost dying out here. So the place I camped earlier, there was a barred owl, and I hooted all night. And I just heard a barred owl back behind me. So it's kind of cool. It definitely adds to the atmosphere of the woods. When I wake up, that guy right back there is staring at me, just like a little bit off the shoreline, just looking at me in my hammock. So it was a little bit creepy waking up to that. That alligator just like looking at me, but I don't know, whatever. Here at Johnson Lake, like I was telling you last night, this is where I accidentally cut my hand really bad, and there's a scar right there on my hand. And so that scar is just kind of a reminder that you do make mistakes and that you're not perfect and you don't do things well all the time. And so this is where it happened, actually, just right behind me back there on the other side of the lake. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go the same path and the same distance that my brother had to paddle me back. And so I'll have finally done that paddle myself rather than getting toted around like some buffoon. Well, here we go. Time for the long trek home. This will be fun.